day, everyone.
Hello, we're British now.
Welcome to West Nale Virus. We're your hosts, as always, Caleb, Nale, Josiah West Nale Virus.
Yeah.
Today's Friday, so the Friday show is our hypotheticals, or we like to, we got to come up with a better name for this, or we play GM.
Yeah, we'll figure it out
for the day. Go on YouTube. You can watch us talk to each other, talk to you, or you can listen to us on wherever you're listening to us on.
Yes, absolutely. YouTube, Spotify, not TikTok. We are on TikTok though.
That's true.
So Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Anchor. And I believe that's all for now.
There's like Breaker and like some other stuff. I don't know who listens to that stuff, but if you do, hey, thank you. Yes. Today we are playing as a GM, and we are the GM for the Lakers.
LA Lakers, Los Angeles Lakers. Groundbreaking news recently, which we'll touch on tomorrow in our episode as well.
Right.
Not as much because we're gonna have pretty much a whole episode about it today.
Yeah.
But yeah, they traded for Russell Westbrook. So this is the big news. This is why we're doing this Be the GM episode. And they traded for Russell Westbrook. And who did they trade away?
I will read right now the exact trade of what went down in real life, and then we'll get into. Then we're gonna share our opinions, and then we're gonna play GM.
Yeah.
How's that sound, Josiah? Good.
Sounds great to me. Great.
Perfect.
Great.
Okay, the Lakers, they traded with the Washington Wizards. I got my handy dandy notebook here. And they traded away Cantavius Caldwell-Pope. Most people know him as KCP. Montrezl Harris. I don't know if it's Montrezl Harris. Kyle Kuzma, and a first-round pick. They sent all that to Washington. Washington sent Russell Westbrook, a 2024 second-round pick, and a 2028 second-round pick. And what the Wizards did with that, well, I will share that with you. They drafted Isaiah Jackson, who then was traded to the Indiana Pacers for the 31st pick, and Aaron Holiday, who I don't know who that is. Sorry. Okay. Well, I think he's a brother of Drew Holiday, who just won the championship for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Pretty cool.
They then selected with the 31st pick Isaiah Todd. Sweeney Todd's no, I'm just kidding. Isaiah Todd. So that was the trade. What did you think about that trade? What do you think about that trade, Josiah?
Well, in my opinion, I wouldn't have done that. I don't really understand that. I feel like they saw Russell Westbrook. They were like, oh, this is great. We're going to sell jerseys like mad. We're going to make buku bucks off this. Like, oh, this is going to be great. Let's get another star. We'll have LeBron James, and we'll have him, and we'll have whoever the frick else is on their team. And I mean, Anthony Davis and all those guys. So you got Anthony Davis, you got LeBron James, and you have Russell Westbrook. Sure, you're going to sell more jerseys than you've ever sold. But I don't think it was a good trade for them.
Why?
Well, Russell Westbrook isn't exactly known as a three-point shooter, right?
Right.
I'd say LeBron James isn't exactly known as a three-point shooter either. He's not a bad three-point shooter.
No, he's good. I mean, he's
good at
the best player ever.
Yeah, but he's not Steph. He's not like a specialized shooter. He's just an insane athlete who
the greatest basketball body in the history of basketball bodies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Other than maybe Giannis.
That's true. There's an argument now.
There's an argument there. The guy's he just dunked his way through the playoffs.
More like stretched his way.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's insane. I don't understand. Speaking of which, the Lakers have Costas Antetokounmpo on their team as a restricted free agent. But they traded for Russell Westbrook, another just really good athlete. And I don't think he's that great of a shooter. I mean, nobody's too worried. I don't know. I'm sure some people have seen this, but there's a picture of in the playoffs, LeBron James, the way he guarded Russell Westbrook
Mhm.
was literally Russell Westbrook was out on like past the 3-point line. He's about to shoot. He's right on the 3-point line. LeBron James was just posted up underneath the basket watching Westbrook shoot. Like that was how they were guarding him. They were not worried about his 3-point shooting. And then they went and traded for him on a team that if I were going to trade for someone, I'd want an amazing 3-point shooter.
Right. We'll get to that in a second. I agree with you. I think this trade is kind of doo-doo, but I will say this. The Lakers now have the 3 best athletes in the NBA. They have the 3 best athletes. And Russell Westbrook, Mr. Triple-Double himself, who is a freak. I love the way he plays. You know, if you could have guys that play as hard as him, you'd be unstoppable. The way he hustles and attacks the rim.
It's like Roddy on the team that I played on for you.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying now. Okay, I was like, who is that? Who are you talking about? Okay, but a team that I coached. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have Anthony Davis who could jump out of the gym.
Yeah.
He's got a decent mid-range shot, pretty good. I mean, defensive freak, and LeBron James who's just a freak, body-wise and athletic-wise. Yeah,
absolutely.
so I mean, now you have the most athletic team in the entire world. Basketball-wise and skill-wise, though, I don't know if you have the best team. So there's an argument to be made. I would have done something else. I do think that you have a great point in ticket sales that the Lakers are going to make so much money. They already make a ton of money. Do you really need to sell more jerseys?
I mean, I don't.
Probably the most
I can't
popular
imagine
team.
they do.
You have the most popular team in the entire world. You have Kobe, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Chamberlain. Anyways, we could keep going on and on. Anyways,
it's insane. It's insane.
This out of 10 out of 10, not 10 out of 10. Out of the number 10, what would you give them?
I don't know, 5 out of 10, I guess, because I don't really know what to think about it other than I don't love it. I don't think it's the best thing they could have done. Mm-hmm. Maybe a 6 because he is a really good player, but like I don't see him meshing with the Lakers very well. Now I could be completely wrong. You know, things like this happen where they trade. Everyone's like, oh, this is stupidest trade ever. And then works out great. A lot of times though, it just doesn't. A lot of times people will trade for big name players like this. And doesn't matter what sport it is. They'll be like, oh, he's available to trade for. You'll give me him for these like solid players and a couple of draft picks. Frick. Yeah, I want him. Mm-hmm. They get him. They sell a bunch of jerseys and then he flops on their team. And it's happened over and over again in the NBA. It's happened in the NFL a million times. It's happened, it happens all over sports. And I would be nervous that Russell Westbrook is the next one of those guys. And I'm not saying, he's going to, his career is going to fizzle out because he went to the Lakers. Definitely not. But, at worst, I'd say Russell Westbrook just doesn't mesh well with their team. And then they just have to end up retrading him at the end of this season.
Well, I think it's really important in life to know your history. Okay? You have to know history so that we don't repeat it. Correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
my question is, when Russell Westbrook has been on a team with some other stars, has it gone well? And the answer is no, it hasn't. Right. We just look at history.
Right.
And I'm realizing if you're on YouTube, there's a lamp on right here. And it's going bright. And if I move around, it's not focusing. I'll turn that off real quick after this. But I think it's important to look at history and not only Russell Westbrook history, because he's gotten deep into playoffs. I think he's gotten to the semifinals or the Western Conference Finals with OKC.
And he's won NBA MVP before.
Right. Great player. But can he do it with a team? And that's what I love about sports, team sports, is because it's team sport.
Right.
You can get you can get away with it a little bit in basketball. If you have one player, just look at Slovenia in the Olympics right now with Luka Doncic. But so basketball, you get away with it. But to win the whole thing, I think this year was perfect. Look at the two teams in the NBA Finals: the Suns and the Bucks. Those were Those were teams. Those are not
Complete
players.
teams,
Yeah.
right?
And the past few years, we've seen players like LeBron James just team to those.
Right. And I will say, the Bucks won because Giannis came back. I don't think they could have won without Giannis.
Right.
But that being said, he was not the only reason they won. He obviously was a huge reason they won, but I think his supporting cast was a very.
Oh yeah, you get Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and I mean those are the guys that popped into my mind. And the local guy, Brook Lopez, baby, with the big dunk. Played at a few open gyms with him. He was scary. But yeah, so I think if we just look at history, I'm repeating myself. I don't think it's going to work out well for the Lakers. Let's get into, I'm going to flip my lamp off real quick, but get into what you would do as the Lakers GM.
Okay. Well, I'm less sure, I think, than you are on what I would do. But first of all, the first thing I would look at is see if I could get more for Westbrook than I just traded for. See if I could just turn right around and trade him somewhere else for even more than I just got. That's the first thing I'd look at.
Can you do that? I mean, I'm sure you can. They do it.
Yes, it's been done, actually. I believe it was Carmelo Anthony was traded to the Hawks a few years ago, and he never even played a game for them. He got a jersey made, I remember, for the Hawks because he was officially on the Hawks roster.
Right.
So he had like a special jersey made because he was on the roster, but then he was immediately turned around. They turned around and traded him somewhere else that he like wanted to play or something. I don't know. Okay. But I remember they traded him away somewhere else before he ever played. So I would look at and see if that's a possibility. And that's the first thing I do.
That would be fun.
I try and yeah, it would be. First of all, I try and sell as many Russell Westbrook jerseys as I could,
and then turn around
and trade him away and everyone would be super mad. But but it's business, baby. Right. But yeah, no, I think that is the first thing I would look at. Is there anyone who wants Russell Westbrook? Some teams that, maybe the Suns, maybe they look to add a new guy. I don't think he'd be a great fit for them, but maybe try and trade him away to what team is Doncic on? He's on
the Mavericks.
Maybe trade him there. Maybe try and trade him, I don't know. Try and trade him away for like some good solid players, some shooters, and a couple of picks. And see if I can get more for him than I gave away. And then if I couldn't do that,
what if they trade him right back to the Wizards for somebody else?
No. for more. It's like, we want Russell Westbrook. Oh crap, but we want him back. All right. Well,
I think that they need some shooters on that team.
I do too.
I don't know if the Lakers got any better. This isn't really what kind of back to my opinion is. I don't know if the Lakers got better with this trade. And I do think the Wizards got a lot better. So I would actually give the Wizards a higher trade grade.
Right.
Than the Lakers on this one.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing too. So Alex Caruso, player for the Lakers, he is the highest 3-point percentage shooter on the Lakers right now. He has shot, I think it was just last year that I saw this statistic. I think it was just for last year. He shot 58% on 3-pointers, which is really good.
How many did he take? 2?
I don't know. I don't know how many he took. Probably not many. But I think you gotta start Alex Caruso.
At point guard. They do have Dennis Schroeder now.
Yeah.
And Russell Westbrook. So, but you were saying that you would rather if you're the GM, you would trade for a shooter.
Yes.
And would you trade Caruso away or would you keep him?
If I could get a good shooter and trade away Caruso, I absolutely would do it. If I could say, hey, listen, with Warriors, I'll give you Alex Caruso. He's 58 3-point shooting, 50% 3-point shooting. And I'll give you Russell Westbrook if you'll give me Steph. That's obviously never going to happen. But I mean, yeah, if you could trade for Klay Thompson, that'd be great. But no, I mean, yeah, try and trade for a really good 3-point shooter. Try and trade for something like that. They obviously don't have their first round pick from this year because they traded away for Westbrook, which was then used to get somebody else, which was then used to trade for somebody else for another pick. But
the NBA is insane.
It's freaking nuts, man. There's so many bizarre trades coming from football, man. But yeah, no, and I might even try and trade away Dennis Schroeder as well. And another thing I would look at is re-signing Kostas Antetokounmpo. See if the Bucks will give me anything for him,
so he can play with his brother again
to complete the trifecta. They have two of the Antetokounmpos right now.
Is that a third brother? Is that his actual brother?
There are three brothers. Thanasis, Kostas, and Giannis are all Antetokounmpos. They're all brothers. And you know, if you can get all three brothers on one team, that would be pretty cool.
That would be. I mean, if Giannis could teach them how he got there, oh my gosh, that'd be fun to watch.
I would love to watch. I don't even care if they do well. I just want to be like, watch the Bucks for one game and just like watch three brothers all out there playing together. That would just be so fun to watch in the NBA. But no, yeah, I'd try and see if the Bucks would give me anything for Kostas. I doubt they would give much because he is a young player and he hasn't done super well so far, but he hasn't got a lot of playing time either. So, you know, we'll see. But yeah, if you can get anything for him, you can get anything for. I'd look at trading Caruso. I'd look at trading Schroeder, and I'd look at trading Russell Westbrook. Maybe even for like Kyle Lowry, or try and get maybe I don't know.
Someone
I can't
else.
think of anybody right now, but yeah.
Well, it's funny you say Kyle Lowry. That's gonna lead me right into what I was gonna do. I would, if you look at LeBron. I'm a big history guy. I love history. You already know that. What did when LeBron did well? What did he have? He always had a point guard, a playmaking point guard. I think. If we look at when he won it with the Cavs, he had Kyrie Irving. When we look at the big threes, he had Kyrie, Kevin Love, and LeBron. That was in for the Cavs. Kevin Love, decent. I think he was a pretty good shooter. I think Kyrie was a playmaker. Then we go to the Heat. When he won it with the Heat, he had Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. And Dwayne Wade could shoot the ball. So what do we need to get LeBron? Okay. My first thought is I need to get him a legit shooter. I think, did LeBron have Kyle Korver, I think, on the Cavs as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kyle Korver, and he's a knockout shooter.
So my first goal is to get him a shooter. I can deal with, a decent point guard that can distribute the ball. Maybe not the greatest finisher or shooter. Right. I could deal with a Westbrook, but I need a big time shooter.
Right.
I don't know if the Lakers have that right now. So I am trying to get a shooter. So my trade is going to be for a shooter. Okay, that's my first goal. Second, if I'm going to trade for a point guard like Westbrook, I'm trading for Kyle Lowry. Facilitator, playmaker, and a beast on the defensive floor, on the defensive side of the ball. So I love Kyle Lowry. I am trading for Kyle Lowry. I'm fine with trading away Montrezl Harris, Andre Drummond, who's a center. You could trade any center because I think you can draft centers and you just have to be
another
big.
thing is the problem with centers is the way the NBA works now. It's the best teams consistently are 3-point shooting teams. teams
yeah, the
that
game has changed.
shoot threes. Now, obviously, Giannis, he's brought the Bucks to the championship, and he's
Well,
not
look at Brook
exactly.
Lopez, their center. He
Yeah.
shot the three well.
There you go. Well, yeah, and that's the other thing is they were talking about when the Warriors traded for, I think it was Melo again. He's like
Carmelo?
one of the Carmelo Anthony.
I don't know.
Because I think the
I don't know if he was
Warriors
on the Warriors.
and I think they had him for like
Okay. I have no idea.
I can't remember. But anyways, they traded for a center and they're like, oh, this guy's gonna be good. Now he ended up being injured like the whole time he was on the Warriors. He played like 3 games. But yeah, no, I mean, there if you can get a good 3-point shooting center, that's amazing. But the other thing is you're talking about a shooter and
A center. Okay. Well, I think I was going to make the comparison, and some people in basketball may hate this.
Okay.
But centers to me are like running backs in football. You can find, if you have the pieces around them, like if you have a good O-line and a good quarterback, it's pretty easy for a running back, right? Anybody can run the ball. I mean, all you got to do is be big and strong. It's the same for a center. If you're big and strong, you can play center. And I think there's a lot of them.
Right. Now, obviously there are running backs and centers, I think in the same vein, going with that, who are just different, like you give them the ball and nobody's taking them down. Like they just have a different, just the mindset really is what it is. I mean, look at Marshawn Lynch or Nick Chubb, they just refuse to go down. Yeah. But then you have in terms of centers, you've got
Andre Drummond.
Lopez is good. Yeah, you've got
we're talking like great ones. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking really good ones.
But Shaq.
Shaq,
like
exactly.
Game changing centers. I don't know though. It's very rare that a center changes the game. And same with running backs and tight ends. It's very rare that they change the game. Like George Kittle is not taking you to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. You can't run your offense.
He's really good, and I would definitely want him on my team. But yeah, I wouldn't go, oh, if we get George Kittle, we're good.
Right. So for that reason, I would say you could trade some like big name centers, and then you could fix that in the draft or maybe get a decent one through a trade. So they have Andre Drummond, and I believe they have Mark Gasol. Pau Gasol. Yeah. So you could work with that. You still have Anthony Davis who can play center.
Yes, that I was going to say that you stick Anthony Davis on the defensive side of the ball only. Honestly, offensively, the Lakers, I don't think they need a center. I mean, if you've got Russell Westbrook, right? I think if they stick with Russell Westbrook, what they should do is they should have him try and play the slowest form of point guard that he can. In terms of like, he gets the ball, don't have him go directly to the basket every time. Because that's what I feel like what Russell Westbrook generally does. Like he just tries to get to the basket as fast as he can, as hard as he can. That I feel like that's what Russell Westbrook does. Try and have him be, dish it if you can. Pass.
Well, that's why I would trade
3-point shooters. Exactly. And if you can trade away Russell Westbrook for Kyle Lowry and maybe a first or maybe another like backup player, maybe a good center if you can get one, or like a solid, maybe a young guy that you think you can develop. But if you can trade away Westbrook for Kyle Lowry and, some other pieces.
Well, I wouldn't have traded for Westbrook. I'm the GM. I'm just going and getting Lowry. I'm going to get Lowry to facilitate.
Well, I agree. I like the Kyle Lowry idea. And if we approach it from that perspective, but the problem is at this point they already have Westbrook. So,
I'm the GM before we're saying before.
Okay, we're saying before.
Yeah.
Okay, then never mind. I'm giving Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and that first, and that's it for Kyle Lowry.
Oh, I don't know if they take that, but somebody. Oh my gosh, what is that on the screen?
That is the cat. He has been laying right here the entire time and just decided to get up.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan either of getting rid of Kyle Kuzma. And he's a young talent. But I would have tried to keep him. But if I have to get rid of him, that's fine. So what Caleb, Nale, as the Lakers GM, I am trading for Kyle Lowry. Whatever it takes, I'll get rid of some guys and get Kyle Lowry. I'm keeping my core to LeBron. So my big three is now Lowry, Anthony Davis, and LeBron. If I can trade away a few more guys, or I'm drafting a great shooter. I know the NBA. I think it's harder to draft a shooter because the NBA 3-point line is different than college. It's farther back, so it's a little harder. You got to give the shooters a few years to figure it out.
Right.
And then I'm just going to throw this out there. I would rather have Lonzo Ball as my point guard than Russell Westbrook on this team. Go back and grab Lonzo Ball as your point guard.
I mean, as I said, I just don't really like the Russell Westbrook grab.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just another guy that can drive in, but you've already got guys that can drive in. Like, you can't tell me LeBron can't drive in. Like, the guy is one of the best at it. He's one of the best at everything. But, like, you've got LeBron James already. You don't need Russell Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, instead trade for a good cornerback, a good point guard. I say quarterback. A good point guard, a good shooter.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you really want to, you could try and grab a center and try and play based off, we lock down the middle and then.
I think you get rid of your centers and just play with a mediocre center.
I agree. I think you completely get rid of the center position. The only you play inside defense with Anthony Davis and that's it.
And LeBron, he could guard him.
And LeBron, exactly. Yeah, have Anthony Davis or LeBron always inside on defense and go up, block, dunks and stuff.
Now,
but
the last thing I will say, so that's what I would do if I was the GM of Lakers, and I think that's what you would do, Josiah.
Yes.
We're not trading for. We don't want Westbrook. Both of us would rather have Kyle Lowry or somebody to like a good passer or a good shooter, facilitate the game, play with a mediocre center.
I'd almost just start Dennis Schroeder and trade for some good shooters.
I'd start Caruso. But
yeah, is he a point guard?
Yeah, I think so.
He's listed as a shooting guard, but that
okay.
Switch
he
off.
Could do it. He could play. What was I gonna say? Fudge, I forgot. But oh no, they will win the West though. They will win the West. If everyone stays healthy, they will win the West. You don't lose with Anthony Davis, and you don't lose with a healthy Anthony Davis and LeBron. And Russell Westbrook he'll give you a few games where he gets his triple-double, but he's gonna have to give that up now.
Right. Well, that's the problem is, I mean, when you go and look at these teams who form the big three or form the super team, a lot of times you got too many good players. You don't have enough ball to go around, like everyone can't have the ball at the same time. If you're playing, 5-on-5 basketball, everyone has a basketball, there's 5 basketballs. Sure. You go get Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and then you got 2, whatever. Sure, you're going to win every time. You're going to win all your one-on-one matchups, but you got one ball. So either Anthony Davis or LeBron or Russell Westbrook can go off. You're not going to have all 3 of them.
Yeah. If you made it this far, leave a comment what you would do as the GM of the Lakers and tell us, who do you think is going to lead the team in scoring? Will it be Anthony Davis, LeBron James, or Russell Westbrook?
And do you like the Russell Westbrook trade? And if not, who would you have grabbed instead?
Right. Lot to do. If you're the GM, what would you do? And who's going to lead them in scoring? All right. We are on YouTube, West Nale Virus. That's where you're going to leave your comment. iTunes,
Spotify,
Google,
Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts.
That's it. That's
Breaker, Anchor. That's it.
And we will be back tomorrow for the week recap. We're going to go over
which little preview, all the Olympic stuff, a little bit of NBA, a little bit of some other stuff.
Yep, it's going to be fun. I'm sorry I was busy yesterday, so we couldn't get our get to know with Caleb, but that's all right. We don't need to do
Well, to be fair, I was busy and then you were busy, so it was just bad timing all around. both sides. We missed today. Sorry, won't happen again.
Share this with your friends. Tell them word of mouth is the best way for podcasts to grow and a little YouTube show. So share this with all your sport loving friends, and we will see you tomorrow.